Hello and welcome to Second Take Movies, the podcast where we give movies a second look, a second chance, second take, if you will. I'm your host, Preston Jenkinson. My guest today came back for more for a third time with the Morpheus glasses. He always makes an entrance, even though y'all can't see it. It's Jake Tweito.
Red pill, blue pill, baby. Can't see with these on, by the way.
Yeah. And as you've already seen the title of this episode, I can just hear all of you out there. Well, Preston, the Matrix isn't a bad movie.
First one's not.
No, it's not. Definitely not. It's one of the, like, I'm a white guy in my 30s, so it's like top 10. But for this week and the next 2 weeks, we are covering the Matrix Trilogy in anticipation for Matrix Resurrections, which comes out on the 22nd, I think. Yeah.
I'll second that.
So that's what we're talking about today. The story, synopsis, whatever you call it. A beautiful stranger leads a hacker, Neo, to a forbidding underworld. He discovers the shocking truth that life as he knows it, is the elaborate deception of an evil cyber intelligence.
I agree with that. Morpheus is beautiful. He's leading them. Got it. Solid.
Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know who wrote that description, but I copied it from IMDb.
Me.
So
it was me.
Morpheus is a beautiful man. Lawrence Fishburne is a good-looking dude. Reviews. We got positive and negative ones. AV Club Kevin Phipps, he said, the Wachowskis do it so playfully well, keeping the Matrix's potentially confusing plot intelligible, intelligent, and suspenseful, that it doesn't matter. From the Chicago Reader, Jonathan Rosenbaum said that there's not much humor to keep it all life-size, and by the final stretch, it's become bloated, mechanical, and tiresome.
I don't think it needs comedy, though.
What movie? What did you want to be funny?
I'd like to see his Schindler's List review. Like, there was no comedy in that. It was kind of bitter and very depressing.
It's not supposed to be.
No. But you know what? There is some humor. I will say it. He's wrong.
Yeah.
Bad taste.
There's Mouse with the tasty wheat and the...
Mouse. Forgot about him completely, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he...
Yeah. 10 minutes of fame.
Bites it halfway through. But I want to start today with a question. Has this movie aged well, or did it just hit us at the right time growing up and we've just held this in our heads as like one of the best ever?
Both. I think we hit it at the perfect time. So, not to date myself, this was the first DVD I ever watched. Okay. I won't go through how I got the DVD. I was not old enough to watch this. I pretty much stole it from a rental store and then returned it.
I wasn't either. I watched this in the 5th grade when I had the flu. I borrowed it from my friend who had it on VHS.
I watched this on DVD as a little kid. I was like, this is the future. And then I watched a futuristic movie and it's like, oh my gosh. But Corridor Crew, if you ever watched them and their VFX breakdowns, they've been mentioned several times on this podcast. Yeah, they've touched some pieces. I think there's so much good practical stuff in this.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the listing. There are VFX shots, definitely. There's not that many. Apart from the full VFX. So, when you're not in the Matrix, you're not on the ship. Right. Yeah, that's all full. Yeah. But I think it's aged stupid well. I mean, I watched. Yeah, there's some bad stuff.
Boy, the next 2 weeks, it's oof.
Let me ask you this: ground rules.
Yeah.
Do you want me to say anything about the next 2 movies, or keep it strictly here?
I think we'll save it. We'll enjoy this treasure of a movie, and not get into those quite yet.
I think this has aged well. I think modern VFX are probably better. But it's kind of the movie that did everything. Everything you and I know that's action pretty much comes from here.
Well, that bullet time thing has been copied thousands of times.
I can remember like a year after this on the MTV VMAs, they had a bullet time camera sequence for people to walk in through.
Yeah.
So even as dumb as that, people copied it.
I mean, they do that at award. I mean, you'll watch like award shows on Instagram now, and they'll have a photo booth that's set up just like that. So that thing
but now it's a drone that just
probably instead of like 1,500 cameras lined up together.
What do you think? What's your take on?
Oh yeah, like the idea of it, I would even say it was ahead of its time. The idea of plugging into a virtual world and presenting yourself as something else. We didn't have that in 99.
No, I mean, like now you've got that. I mean, there's like Second Life or
you do that every
whatever
day
else. Now. Yeah, like there's
thousands of people on Twitch doing that.
I didn't even think about the Twitch. Yeah, it's full, but I don't know. It holds up. It holds up eerily well.
Yeah. And also, 99 was one of the greatest years in movies.
I've already forgotten, but that year, like, what's the top 10? Do you know it?
I looked it up last night. I know it was Matrix was on there.
Oh, you know what? I know what made me die laughing in your world. Star Wars Phantom Menace.
Yes.
That was number 1.
Yeah.
And you know what? You compare, again, I wasn't on that episode. I got some thoughts, but you compare the Matrix's effects to that. The Matrix still stands. Phantom Menace, kinda, not really, But yeah, that was a good year. I'm looking at the list right now, and it is. Oh, Pokemon first movie, bingo.
Oh yeah,
solid.
The Mummy.
Ooh, I saw that. Not to detract, I saw that for the first time in my life this year. 2 months ago.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, it was fantastic.
It's a great movie. Brendan Fraser was on top back then.
You know what? My love of that guy. I thought he was awesome. Never saw that. Watched it and was just like, what in the world did I miss out on?
Mm-hmm.
So, no, and the Green Mile, I think, came out. Actually, I could probably.
Yeah, I think that's on that
Green
list
Mile
too.
came out that year too. Yeah. Nothing but good movies that year.
But yeah, it's just movies were on top. It opens with Trinity. Well, it on the green scrolling text and the numbers.
The sushi. Do you know this story?
No.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm a total nerd and I do nothing but write software code. I tried to write a project about the relevance of movies and coding.
Uh-huh.
All that green screen is sushi recipes from someone's wife's Japanese cookbooks. It's not binary. It's not hexadecimal. It's pretty much Japanese characters of sushi.
I always noticed that it looked like Japanese characters. I was wondering if that was on purpose.
Yeah, and I think they snuck in some hex code, but it is almost 98% sushi recipes. That's it.
Wow.
So, I just stepped my nerd level up like 10 levels.
I did not.
But you know what?
It was. I found some trivia at the end for us, but that was not included in it. So
I'll take it.
That's great.
I'll take it. But what's crazy, the bullet time, past that Trinity at the very beginning.
Yeah.
There's bullet time with her first.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this until 2 days ago. That whole first sequence was a sell to whoever they had to produce the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They've dunked everything in there, filmed that, and that's it. And I'm like, wow, you didn't even film your lead person.
They were like almost shut down because of the budget was going over, and then they sent back some dailies to Warner Brothers, and they were like, oh no, never mind, y'all can keep going.
I mean, like I remember watching that for the first time. I couldn't imagine being on the sets and seeing the previews for the day. Like, oh, yeah, we're not going to stop this. We're going to keep going.
No, there's something here. She's saying to who ends up being Cypher. I think is that Cypher? Is that his name? Yeah.
Yes.
They think they've located him, which is Keanu Reeves, Neo, Thomas Anderson. We're introduced to Agent Smith, or the agents. Boy, Hugo Weaving. God.
Hugo Weaving. My wife probably was just so furious. I paused it so many times rewatching it. The third that she was awake for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like Hugo Weaving. Like, I don't know if he's gotten any awards, but that guy.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings and this, Captain America, but just his voice, it hits and you're like, got it, paying attention.
And that's basically all they needed for V for Vendetta was his voice.
Yes. Didn't even remember that was him until the other day.
Yeah.
Which even further was like, oh my God, they got some, which I don't know how big he was at this point. Like Trinity, Carrie Ann Moss, I think this was her first thing.
They had just finished filming Lord of the Rings when he started this. So, I mean, he was fresh off that, but I mean, nobody knew what Lord of the Rings was yet. So,
no.
This and that probably put him really on the map. I mean, he had been working for years, but
what an incredible, like, scary guys in suits with earpieces. Flat out, you see the earpiece right away, there.
Because I don't know what that opening scene when she beats up all the cops, you don't know if is she the bad guy? What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. That was that's one of the things I forgot. I forgot that it opened with that entire sequence.
Yeah.
Completely. I thought it opened up with him waking up at his keyboard and follow the White Rabbit.
That's even yeah. And but then it cuts to Keanu Reeves asleep at his keyboard, and then text on his screen wakes him up, which I guess if you heard that noise and it wasn't the familiar noise you fell asleep to, okay. But you know what? This movie is so perfect. I will be forgiving this movie a lot in this episode because
this is a movie where some of my problems I'm not even going to tell you.
Yeah,
like no, you know what? It's great because 2 seconds later it redeems itself with something crazy.
Yeah, and
something stupid in the background even.
Yeah, they hit you with the Jesus metaphor
right out the gate,
subtly and not so subtly, where the guy that's buying a program from Neo calls him his own personal Jesus Christ, and I'm like, well, we're just
never paid attention to that till this watch.
Yeah,
the first time I caught it, because I've always thought, 2 movies from now, whatever.
Yeah, it's very overt in the last 2.
Yeah, I'll hold my peace, but that makes me feel like, okay, maybe the writers of this thought about it, but no. 5 and a half years on this movie, 2 years on the next 2. It shows.
Yeah,
but
I think they even shot the last 2 together, but
I think they did.
Yeah,
I'll save it. I'll save it for the next weeks. But that said, 5.5 years to make this movie.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch this movie, even at this point in the movie, you feel it right away. You're like, all right, there's a purpose for every little dumb, even to his room numbers. When they knock on the door, it's 101.
And that's the other thing about this movie. Every sound, shot, line is in their own purpose. Like, a lot of movies just have like a establishing shot. The establishing shots in these movies have purpose, and cast, like, everything has purpose in this movie.
And it's to the sickening degree where you can't keep up with it. I tried hard. I mean, I've watched this movie so many times, so I was like, I don't really want to pay attention to the movie. Let me watch the background on this time. But it's baffling. The real question is if you had the invite to go to that party, Preston, would you do it? Would you follow the White Rabbit to the insane
leather fetish party? No. Like, as soon as I got there, I'd be like, nope, sorry.
I mean this in the most positive way. Some of my best friends are this. It could come off so wrong. This movie spawned the, like, quintessential hyper nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Period. Some of my, again, no offense. I mean, I got the...
this is every goth kid's favorite movie, probably.
I just remember I watched this movie and went to school and saw kids decked in all leather and trench coats and understood. And went, you watched The Matrix. And then in school as a programmer, they still fully decked out. Like...
Yeah.
But it's incredible. I mean, no offense to anybody. It's baffling, though.
Yeah, when I go out to different trainings and stuff for work, it's like, oh, y'all are... That's what happens when you work in technology. It brings in all the...
There's always that one guy you can pick out, and you're like, you believe the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. you will tell me later after beers or something else that, hey, man, the Matrix is real and I'm in it. Look at me.
Oh. Okay.
Got it. Cool.
Cool. I forgot how he gets back to sleep or back to his apartment, but I mean,
yeah, Trinity catches him in the club.
Yeah,
and they have the introduction, and we're introduced that she's actually some great hacker.
Yeah, she's a famous hacker that broke into something.
This is the first time I ever went, oh shoot! Like she had a life in the fake world. Actually, she's not just there. He meets him like everyone else. She's the only person that she's the only person he has a connection with. That was in that world, kind of.
And I would assume that the woke up people that come into the Matrix probably are seen as like these famous hackers. That's what I kind of assumed when I watched it the first time.
Yep, and it's kind of funny. Like I wish they I guess that's my only. It's not even a real story quirk, but I wish the other people on the Nebuchadnezzar, especially. Yeah. Where were you before you woke up?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get picked? Especially some of the rats. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's in the club, and I'm drawing a blank on how he gets back home.
I think he just wakes up back at home and is late for work. I mean, that just cuts to that.
Yeah, gets written up at work.
Yeah. Like, let's
gets written up at work, and then the greatest Nokia ad in the world. Oh my
gosh!
I mean, like.
What did they pay dated to have that? It would looked dated back then. That's the little slide out thing.
I bet that phone's still running today.
It probably is.
All I got to say is probably has Snake on it. Probably still runs.
Oh yeah.
But that's, I mean, insane. The whole movie. As a kid, I went, well, this is Nokia's movie. They made this movie.
Oh yeah. But, and on the other end of that sliding Nokia phone is Morpheus. He's found. We've been looking for you, Neo. And because he.
Oh God, these are so.
Where
bad.
did you find those?
These are $1.50 on Amazon. Preston, I wanted to make you laugh so hard. I was like, I'm gonna get a leather jacket. I'm gonna dress up like Morpheus. I'm gonna shave my head.
No.
I'm hideous shaved. So I said, nah, I'll just get these $1.50 suckers, and they actually showed up like an hour before this perfectly. Sorry. Physical gag for a podcast. I'm committing a sin here. But you know what? Do you remember Lawrence Fishburne before this? I couldn't place him in anything.
This was probably the first thing, other than watching Apocalypse Now, where he was credited as Larry Fishburne.
Never seen it. Oh, Larry 70s. Fishburne.
Yeah, he was like a teenager in that movie. And his credit was Larry Fishburne back then.
All right. I'm all right with that. But hey, and also, not to spoil stuff, if he doesn't show up in the Matrix 4, I'm going to be depressed. I know they possibly replaced him. And I'm not reading into anything. I have not read anything. He was in John Wick. He was phenomenal.
You might be disappointed. Because I think they got a new version of Morpheus.
Yeah.
I think there's new versions of characters other than Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves. And you know what? Morpheus could just show up.
Yeah.
You know, Larry Fishburne could show up out of nowhere.
I know it's the second movie. He's fighting the agents, and he goes, oh, upgrades. That's the Matrix 4. Bingo. They wolf. But yeah, hey, but how polarizing though. You hear that weird like Morpheus walking them through. Like I remember having not nightmares, but just dreams of someone walking me through all that stuff. And also Samuel L. Jackson could have been that. And so could a Russell Crowe or Sean Connery.
Fun fact. That's one of my pieces of trivia is Russell Crowe turned down the role of Morpheus.
And so did Sean Connery. Could you imagine how awful?
Neo, it's me, Morpheus.
Samuel L. Jackson. Hey, boy. Hey, mother effer. Get to the other side.
You need to get to the other cubicle. They coming.
This won't make the cut, and that's fine.
No, I'm leaving it in. It's staying.
Oh, jeez. But hey, this whole movie, at that point, sorry to
No,
this whole
fine.
movie is nothing but what if they change actors? Neo wasn't supposed to be Keanu Reeves.
I think Keanu Reeves works because he's so befuddled and confused and he has that blank, like intentionally. Keanu Reeves gets a lot of flack for that, but he has that blank look on his face, and I think that's why he was perfect for this movie.
Keanu Reeves is one of my favorite actors, especially now. Yeah. I mean, I think now, especially, I mean, the 80s, 90s.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was a big action star up to this point.
Oh, yeah. But what a, hard left turn for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to remember, and I didn't look it up fast enough, of who was supposed to play Keanu Reeves that turned it down.
I have a list of that later on at the end. Yes.
Okay.
It's not a long list, but it's a good list.
But it's a long list of big people.
Yeah. We get once they catch up to, because they eventually catch up to Neo over all the cubicles, and he doesn't want to jump across a ledge at one point, so the agents end up capturing, and we get our first tease of the architect.
By the way, did you know he actually stood out a window?
I believe it.
That scene, Keanu Reeves legit stood out it, and they're like, don't do it. And he just stepped out and they filmed.
Yep.
It's not Tom Cruise. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The architect. Sorry. Let me not distract you.
But there's a push in on the wall of monitors, and that's the monitors we eventually see in the architect.
And then again, not to go to other movies. Was that intentional, you think? Did they actually
think so. I think
that?
The architect was an idea the entire time.
This watch, I angrily watched it and said, did they plan this little reference? Did they not? But
because they even cut a storyline that mentions that there were five other the ones that failed at fighting the agents, and Keanu Reeves was the one that was. So they had that idea of there was multiple ones and an architect, and all of that was probably already in the back of their minds.
I mean, 5.5 years writing this, you got to try and think of past. So
yeah,
I get it.
So the agents capture him and they tell him about his life and
create the most nightmarish image the world's ever seen.
Yeah,
I don't. There's two nightmares I have: losing my teeth and them falling out, and then my mouth being sewn shut.
Yeah,
that freaking silence sequence. Oh my god!
Like it just this skin just molds around his mouth, and it's like
this movie's R-rated. I don't know why. That scene bothered me so much. I understand it.
Probably because a lot of the themes that they talk about, and
I guess violence.
I don't remember a lot of cussing, but
I think there's like 7 cuss words, and it's all the PG-13 rated. Okay.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
That's the part that really freaked me out was the little bug that they put in his. That part didn't bother me. The coming out. I mean. Oh really?
I don't know what it was. The tuna fish surprise that pops into the machine when they suck it out in the end.
Yeah.
And also the hilariousness of like you've been bugged.
Uh-huh.
Like you got a bug on you. You have a virus. It's a legit bug. I was like, oh okay. Yeah.
But even after that, he wakes up at home again.
Yeah. Which I mean, like. The first time, I don't know how many times, never picked up on like, oh, this isn't real. That just happened. He didn't, I guess he could have blacked out. They put him there.
I think that was like an intentional editing choice to make you think, was that real? Did that happen?
Yeah. It's like a reset button on a video game. Yeah. You just show it back in your bed. No big deal. Yeah. That's it.
And then he gets a call from Morpheus again, and he realizes he hasn't realized that everything that's happened to him has happened to him. They pick him up on the corner and they, like you said, they dig around with this little thing and get the bug out of him in a little chamber and then dump it in the street. We finally meet Morpheus in the best gator skin coat I've ever seen in my life.
I flat out was like, I'm gonna buy this coat and wear it on this podcast just for Preston. No one else will see this. It's like $400, the cheapest I found, and I went, all right, very good. But that whole scene, man. That's impressive. That's how you introduce a character fully. There's no point where I'm like, this guy is Morpheus knows exactly everything. didn't question him, didn't remotely think he's a bad guy either.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, he knows what's happening. He's not telling you anything, just straight shooter. Done.
And then offers him the choice of stay here or come to the real world.
What would you do, Preston? Did you blue pill it? You red pill it?
Man,
Hey, the people that wrote the movie picked blue pill. Flat out interviews historically, they always said we do blue pill.
Yeah, like ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, which I'd do that too. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what? If this is the Matrix, they make pretty good chairs in TV shows.
Truman Show's not that bad a movie. I could live that.
I like my couch and my TV and my job and everything. So,
welcome to Hot Philosophy, the side podcast inside.
So
I'm drawing a huge. So he takes the pill. Is that immediate when he's like waking up in the pod?
Well, no. He takes he takes a pill and it's like, oh, then it like snaps into like this. Oh, that was a trace program so that we can find your real body in the real world.
Yeah.
They sit him beside that. Oh, my thing. Then they sit him beside the mirror in the room, and he's like, oh, what's wrong with the mirror? Oh,
what a beautiful scene. That is a dated VFX shot. That was one where I watched it and went, this looks good, but no.
Who cares?
But that, I was in on it. I didn't care. But that drives to, I didn't know this. The last scene shot on the entire movie is him waking up in that pod in the real world. Because he had to lose like 20 or I don't remember how many pounds.
When they shot the movie.
Yeah. Sorry. So when they shot the movie, the last scene that they shot was him waking up in the machine pod.
Well, they must have shot all the real world stuff last because he has a shaved head and all that.
Yep. I don't know if it's shaved or if he's got a really good cap. It looks shaved.
That's a really good. I think he shaved his hair. I think they shot all the Matrix stuff and then they shot the real world stuff.
And his eyebrows, dadgummit. When he wakes up in that pod.
Hey, they grew back pretty quick once he got ejected from that little pod.
That's that that's that turdy food stuff that he eats with a mouse. Just grows the brows back. But that's, going from that taking the pill, the movie's normal.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden he wakes up in that. And it's just kind of like, what am I watching? Yeah. This is sci-fi.
Dude,
this is crazy.
Me at 10 years old is like Ed, who's like riddled with the flu for the very first time I ever saw this movie, like riddled with the flu. What?
I snuck the movie in the house, so I watched it at like 2 a.m. I just remember being so sleep deprived and being like, what am I watching? What just happened? This guy just like pulled his brainstem out. What is going on?
I'm not sleeping tonight.
I didn't. Yeah, that freaked me out. I don't. You know what? I agree with your R rating. That young, your brain can't process this bullcrap.
No. I didn't understand this movie until I was probably in my 20s. So
I'm 31. I just understood it. But though, I remember the sickest thing in the world. It goes, and I'm probably going to skip something here. And if you've got a point, kill it. It goes from that weird like robot thing to the sickest kung fu fight ever. And like I've watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I watched it the first time last year.
Wow.
And I watched it and went, well, they stole all this from the Matrix. Yeah, it's the same guy that choreographed it.
And everything that same guy choreographed Shang-Chi recently.
That's what I thought. I didn't look it up, but I went, there's so much of this that's so fluid.
He actually died recently too. But
really?
Shang-Chi was the last thing he did.
That sucks. That guy paid homage to like every and the movie even references it. The screen where they're loading him with his kung fu, like the drunken monkey style.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna butcher a lot of names, but like the movie did a good job of like, yeah, you're doing kung fu, but you're doing it right. You're doing a good thing with it. I don't know. It's so impressive. Just, I love Jackie Chan. I love Bruce Lee. I love all the old stuff. So watching that, it's like, yeah, this is 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This just feels good.
But along with those training programs is that training program in that crowd. And being that this movie loves everything is on purpose, every extra cast in there is an identical twin.
What?
Every extra is a twin. Like, they're twins in that crowd, so they can have duplicates of people.
I'm a terrible guy because the only thing I can tell you is about the woman in the red. That's it.
Yeah, but
so they're all twins?
To make it look like they had copied people in the crowd, everybody is a twin. Like, they literally went out, like, put out a thing, said, if you are a twin, bring your twin. We need you for this scene.
All right, this has been a great podcast. I gotta go. I did not know that. Now I have to go watch that scene.
That is the attention to detail of this
That's
movie.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was going to be clever in telling you the woman in red is in Star Wars Episode 2. I've never picked up on that.
Yeah.
Again, 5.5 years planning something.
Mm-hmm.
You get something.
Yeah. And they bring up when you die in the Matrix, you die in the real world. My question is why? Like, they say because the mind makes it real, but...
That's my only... At this time, especially, I went, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
If you had this, you're hacking into the Matrix, you'd have a patch to not kill yourself.
I think at some point they would think of something that...
Yeah. And the robots of you, if you're in the Matrix and you're in those pods and someone kills you, well, they just lost a battery.
Yeah.
Why would that be a part of the Matrix?
I get immediately unplugging your brain from that thing without properly shutting it down. I would understand how that would kill you. But just because because like the way I saw it was you're projecting a virtual version of yourself. So why would if a virtual version of you dies?
You just unplug. I don't know. That's my only gripe.
Yeah, that's my only thing with the movie.
Yeah, which, hey, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, but no, it is a big deal. I mean, every plot point towards the end is getting out before you get killed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess
that's the rules they established for the universe. So you know what?
I'll ride with it.
And they follow it pretty well. So,
well, yeah, that's the deal. Normally, like a dumb rule like that, you can challenge it, and they break it and they screw it up. No, they follow it. So, I'll be right with it. They did it the whole way, and through all movies, they followed it. So,
the first thing after all this training is he goes to see the Oracle.
Give me that spoon. There is no spoon.
There is no spoon.
That
you must first realize it.
That Joker, I think I saw that actor. I saw the Book of Mormon on Broadway.
Whoa.
I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Because I just had that thought.
Do not
said that.
Bend the spoon.
Yeah.
That's
that
impossible.
Kid was in the Book of Mormon. Sorry, that kid turned out to be a huge Broadway person.
Good for him.
Oh my God, ton of stuff. But what a crazy thing of like, there is no spoon. And I don't know how long ago. I don't know which watch, maybe the 16th, 19th. It's like, oh, got it. Yeah, they're in a computer animation. As soon as you understand that's what it is. It's like if you, I won't get into this, and people will be like, yeah, this guy's insane. There's some books about like dream understanding of like you mentally figure out how to make yourself understand you're in a dream, and then you control it. You get terrible sleep, but it's weird.
Yeah.
But that's how this entire movie to me is like people understanding what stage of sleep you're in and how to figure out, yeah, I can control this. I can do this. But that was dead on like, it's just psychologically or whatever else, pretty dead on with human condition. So, but all I'll say is the Oracle is probably the greatest person in the entire world.
If you listen to what she tells him, she actually is telling him he is the one without telling him.
That is the most
and
incredible.
He takes it as she's not, as he's not.
Yeah. It's
he never says that you're not the one.
Nope. It's the like perfect. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to have to figure it out. I mean, every riddle in the world is that. Not humorous. I will not say this because that lady is the bomb.
Yeah.
She died from diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Gave him cookies. I didn't even realize she died after Matrix Reloaded.
Yeah.
Either.
Oh, but she died in the middle of shooting
replaced.
Those movies. Yeah.
Okay.
Funny enough, she got replaced by her acting coach.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew she got replaced, and I never understood why. But that's depressing. Seems like a super nice person.
Yeah.
But like you couldn't get better casting that. Just grandma's house coming in. Here's some cookies. I'll tell you some super deep stuff. Get out of here.
And the line she says when like, don't worry about the base, and he knocks it over, and then she's like, don't worry about it. Then like, what's really gonna bake your noodle? Would you have knocked it over if I didn't say anything?
So before I got into programming, I wanted to be a physicist or a chemist.
Oh wow!
And Schrodinger's cat.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever look deep into that, to the short stories, like there's a cat in a box, there's nuclear radiation in it. You're not going to know if the cat's dead or not until you open it up and look.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like if I told you this happened, would you have let it happen? If I didn't tell you, would it have happened? It's a mind trip, man.
God, that's what the whole movie Tenet's about.
Oh, could you tell me more about that? Well, are you watching it forward or backwards? Because if you watch it backwards, it's just about going to the gas station or something. I watched God, what's that crappy vampire movie? Twilight. Watch Twilight. That's pretty much Tenet backwards. Robert Pattinson has to save someone, can't do it or something. This joke's dead. I can't continue it. But
I like the movie Tenet.
You know what? I loved it. I need to watch it again.
I've watched it 5 times.
I think I watched it 4. I need to get on your level with the 5th. But so good. Look, if Chris Nolan ever pops on this, there's no chance for a second chance. If Chris Nolan does a movie, it's done.
Yeah. No. He's thought about it 5 million different ways, and
where they took 5 years to write this, he could probably do it in a month.
Yeah.
Probably. But
I think his brother could do it.
Ooh, yeah. I think after meeting the Oracle, that's where you see Agent Smith before, but that's where you meet Agent Smith. Like he fully talks, you get his personality. After the incredible cat.
They're going back, when they go back to that hotel that they came out of.
What a sick scene of them trying to get called out, getting double crossed.
Mm-hmm.
They climb down the daggum wall. Yeah, I mean, like maybe they've upgraded footage. I don't know what version I watched or anything. It was just online. It was so good. Like you could see sweat, you could see everything. And I went in the 90s. It's kind of weird. 99. I don't think it's the 90s.
Well, everything was in standard def back then. So
yeah, I never looked at that much detail. It was incredible. Just
and
I mean, insane.
At this point, we haven't mentioned that Cypher has already made a deal with the agents to get reinserted into the Matrix. So,
which again, what a crazy mental thing.
Yeah.
Like I know this steak isn't real, but my brain knows what it tastes like or what it wants to.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat it. I'm going to love it.
Tastes good to me.
This give me that steak. This whole movie like is a head game on philosophy, which this movie, it works. Next movies, no, those head games on philosophy, it's just like no, I'll save it.
I mentioned that he had already made a deal because he's the one that coughs and sneezes and gives away their position in the wall, and Morpheus just headbutts through the wall just to protect Neo, and Neo thinks that he's been told he's not the one, so he doesn't want Morpheus to sacrifice for him. And
also like heartbreaking. The first time you watch it, Morpheus isn't going to win.
Yeah.
He's not going to.
They've already established that everyone has died that's fought an agent. So it's like
I've never seen someone be headbutt and like knocked out and look so cool still.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, this guy went full all in. Just that sucked.
And when like the shot where the agent gets hit on the ground and then he just rises back up without just, I'm like, God.
I mean, like I should have looked this up for this. But like, is that practical effects? Like they wire the guy up?
It had to.
Is that just? I mean, it's hypnotic. You watch it and you're like, oh, that guy's not real.
Yeah.
Right away. If there's any doubt? Nah, you got it. Which nerd fact too. All those like real world scenes, color blue, is gone.
Also, I forgot to mention that.
So I'm partially colorblind in one eye, and this time I was watching it and I went, my TV's messed up, and then I started paying attention and went, wait a minute, when they're in the Matrix, the fake world, tinted green, which I didn't. It's not green to me, but I noticed it this time and I went, oh shoot. They thought about this.
Yeah.
I mean, like the super crisp world of the Matrix that's fake is hyper crisp because it's blue or green, whichever one. But yeah, incredible detail. That's useless. Does nothing, but it really helps your mind understand like, all right, this is real. This is not.
Yeah. And then, so, they get out and they're figuring out what to do. Like, do they go after Morpheus? And he tells everybody that the Oracle told me I'm not the one, even though she really didn't. And so they eventually decide to have a big third act in a office building where they're holding Morpheus.
And by the way, this movie is 2-ish hours long.
It's about 2 hours.
The fastest movie I've ever watched.
It just
that point hits and I paused it to go get some water or something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, oh, there's a lot left in this movie, but I feel like there's nothing left. Hit play. And it felt like 5 minutes passed.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like that, this movie's pacing is flawless.
Yeah.
Keeps you entertained, keeps you going. There is no dull moment, period. Everything, like you said at the very beginning, everything has a reason. Every set piece, every background thing, every sound effect, every music cue.
Yeah.
So it's just wild. Like,
and then we get the interrogation scene where they're trying to get the codes to Zion. Wow. Wow.
As soon as the dude, Agent Smith takes out his earpiece, takes his glasses off, and it's just like, I hate this place. I'm gonna leave.
Which it's setting up that idea for every positive there's a negative. For every one there's an anti-one.
Man, that was just, again, I think knowing I needed to pay attention, I just didn't sit back and stupor going, this is great.
Yeah. That
scene was just fantastic.
Because when the other agents walk in the room to let him know that there's something wrong, they're like, what? He's got his sunglasses off and earpiece. They're like, what are you doing?
Which, I mean, I guess, not to go to the second movie, really sets up like, oh, that guy's different.
Yeah.
Like, this is a prime agent, whatever else. So,
yeah.
It pays off. That scene pays off throughout the next two movies. The next two movies don't pay anything, but that one does.
And then we get the all too famous scene on the roof where they get Morpheus in the helicopter. Well, he's saved. No, he hasn't saved Trinity from the helicopter yet, but they're on the roof and they're fighting the agents and he's out of bullets and he's like, help. And then the agent starts blasting and we get the famous lean back, trench coat flowing.
The best thing about that is he gets shot still.
Yeah.
Like, it's a beautiful scene, but it's like, yeah, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And with, I saw something last night. I was watching a documentary on HBO, Woodstock 99.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
But they were talking about that bullet time thing for some, I don't know how they got onto it, but
everybody got onto it. That's how.
Yeah. Like that. I think maybe it was something else I watched. Anyway, between 2000 and 2002, somebody had counted that scene had been parodied or recreated over 200 times.
If not more. It's got, I mean, like, I'd believe it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't, like, I didn't watch this in the theaters. I remember it being a deal, but like, this movie wasn't a big deal at first, was it?
Yeah.
Or was it
huge.
immediately? Okay. See, that makes more sense. Because to me, like, 2 years later, I guess back in the day, you got a home release.
Yeah.
1.5 years, 2 years after. So I missed the entire apocalypse that happened with it, I guess.
Well, it came out at the perfect time too, with like Y2K was coming, and everybody thought the world was ending, and
still got my bunker ready, man. I dug a hole.
I was like, I guess I was in 5th grade. Yeah, 5th grade. So I was like 10, 11, I don't know. Everybody talked about, I had no clue what the hell was going on. Like, they talking about Y2K. What? So the computer's not going to have a date on it. What?
And I was like, who cares? Yeah.
How is that going to mess up everything? But like, you read about it later on in life and realize that there was a guy that knew it was coming and like had already patched it and everything was going to work. So
yeah. Yeah, that guy gets an award because it would have been bad.
Yeah. But. Anyway, so we're kind of blowing through this movie, but
but that's how the movie is. I mean, like, you could sit and focus on bits. The movie doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. Everything flows. Yeah. But you get that sick bullet time sequence. But even better than that, I don't know why. I mean, to me, like the minigun sequence. He dodges everything.
Somehow doesn't hit Morpheus through that whole thing.
Great. Well, the greatest sequence in the world for every nerd that I knew was, do you know how to fly this thing? And she goes, I might, or whatever the comment is. Yeah. Has the little seizure and is like, oh, I got this. That like the minigun sequence. How didn't he hit Morpheus one? Mm-hmm. But the dive off and grabbing him, man, I mean, so stupid, but it was so awesome. Like, you watch it, it's like, yeah, this guy's got it. He's definitely the one. But so phenomenal. I mean, that's like, all right, Morpheus ain't gonna die. I'm in with this guy all the way. I know he's supposed to die. Yeah. But, there's hope.
So he saves everybody up there and realizes he's kind of the one. He's not 100% on it yet. They go down into the subway and Morpheus gets out. And then, what's her face?
Carrie-Anne Moss. Trinity
picks up the phone. Agent Smith has found his way down. He teleported through a homeless man.
Which, that entire, like, I'm going to bounce around these people thing is the perfect, like, virus, computer, whatever else faux pas thing there with it.
Yeah.
It is so, still, like, it holds up. I watched it, I'm like, this is insane. Yeah. This animation's insane. I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But shoots out the phone booth where to get out of the Matrix, you have to pick up the phone on a landline.
Yeah.
But that scene, that duel, it's like a super Western at that point. Like, I was like, this is a Quentin Tarantino film now.
Well,
that one single, like, there's a frame where I thought it. There's a newspaper that's like a tumbleweed.
Yeah.
That comes going over, and I went, this is a great homage to Western. Yeah. Straight away.
And my only other thing that I'm like, they're standing around the monitors in the real world just looking at code.
Yeah.
And they can tell what's going on. And I'm like,
yeah, it says California roll, sushi galore.
Because at one point they're looking at the training program and it's actual video.
Yeah, that's what threw me off. I didn't notice it here. They saw a video. Now it's just code. No, it should be the video.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll roll with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But no. That's the lamest part. Like, your cliffhanger is people looking at code.
Yeah. She say nerd?
She said nerd. Um, my wife is still game to join the next two, and she already said, I don't want to watch the second one again. She's seen it once in her life and is like, no. But yeah, I don't get, I mean, I don't know. It works.
Yeah.
And I think the payoff for me, I think I've distract myself from the code sequences to him doing the sick backflip.
Yeah.
Through the trains. I'm like, yeah, Matrix, this is it. These scenes are incredible. These custom shades, they're like $400. This is awesome.
But
you can want to get real nerdy, go back and look through who tried to get the sunglasses contract. Ray-Ban fought it forever. I can't remember, Blondie or whoever else bought it.
Wow.
And it legit made their company. So.
But for training for this fight, Hugo Weaving had hip surgery halfway through. And then Keanu Reeves broke his neck. That's why all his fighting looks like stilted and stuff, because he was training with a neck brace on.
Which is even better.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it makes it more abnormal. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it fits the movie. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Though. That makes perfect sense. I'm like, it looks like he's wearing a brace.
Yeah.
The whole time.
So, but when he turns around to face Agent Smith, he's like, what's he doing? He's starting to believe.
Also, that's the dumbest, like, it's such a cool scene, but they dive together trying to shoot guns at each other.
Yeah.
Dude,
I guess the idea is that they're moving so fast and moving the barrels away from their head.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you first see that, it's like, oh, wow. But then you sit there and think about it, it's like.
The last sequence, they
cool?
land on the ground and the guns are at their heads. And I'm like, okay, no. If this was real, you'd have just tilted like 2 degrees. I'm not complaining. It's a pretty sick scene with all the fighting.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, you completely forget they're fighting. Protagonist is killing the villain, kills him, gets him on the train, does the sick backflip.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he's got it. He's going to get out of here. And then the same teleportation thing happens. And you realize, oh, we're back at square one. And this guy's screwed up now. So, yeah, he's not going to win. He's definitely not out of this.
No. But he eventually leaves him on a track. Agent Smith gets hit by a train. He assimilates somebody on the train, so he comes out with fresh sunglasses and earpiece and everything in suit.
Yeah, and you know what? What a great. I know it's a cheap movie trick, but like, yeah, he teleported someone new. He's completely fresh.
Yeah.
Like, you immediately understand looking at him. Oh, he's fine. Yeah. He is 100% fine.
He didn't feel any of that.
Yeah. Good choice on them, for especially sunglasses.
Yeah.
That's not broken. It's nothing. It's like, this guy's good. He's got it.
Keanu Reeves takes off running through the streets, finds a cell phone and says, I need an exit. Finds an exit. In the same room that we started the movie at.
Which, props to the movie. If they don't make a big point, you have to pay attention some to know it's 101.
Because one is 303.
That's Trinity's room, though, isn't it? Trinity's 303.
You're right.
Yes. This is my podcast, Foiled.
It is the same building, though. Same building.
Yeah. I think that's I swear there's probably a deleted scene. I think Trinity lives in the same building that Neo always did. But he's 101. She's 303.
Okay. Anyway.
It means nothing to the movie, by the way. No. That little tidbit, nothing.
No.
But no, he does know. He recognizes the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know where to go.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah. But runs into that room, bang, right in his stomach.
That catches me off guard every time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Neo's going to get out of here. I remember him getting out of here. But there's a scene I forget. No. Standing in there waiting for him, which, sets the movie right. Yeah, they know everything.
Then puts two more in his chest.
Those two I mean, it was 1 a.m. watching it, so my brain was already cut off, and I went, "Oh shoot, he's going all out!" It's a full Zombieland scenario. There's no like
double
one
tap.
and done, double tap, triple tap. But you know what though? He does it. There's no inclination that you don't think he's gonna wake up.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, nah, he's gonna live. We're good.
And then it does that. If I had one more criticism, the power of love.
That's my least favorite movie cliche.
Wakes him up.
Ever.
And he becomes the one. Because the Oracle told Trinity that she would fall in love with the one, and she's known this dude for 7 days, and she's in love, so he's the one.
For a movie so well thought out of, Love Saves the Day. No, this is a binary movie. You know, it's not a binary movie. I say that as like a nerdy way. Like, it's programming. Yeah. I always check out right there. It's still awesome.
Yeah.
But I always have this like, okay, movie's almost over.
Yeah.
Good stuff's over. He's going to wake up and he's going to be invincible. That's what's going to happen.
Because he does wake up in the hallway and he sees the Matrix in the Matrix.
Which, hot question. Does that how he sees now?
I think so. I think from then on, like, that's how he sees the Matrix, which
that sucks.
If I'm the one, I'm trying to figure out, can I toggle this?
Yeah. Girl in Red walks by and you just see like sushi recipes flowing down. This is a lame thing.
But he gets up, looks at the agents, because the agents already have their guns raised. They're like, oh shit, he's alive. Bang, bang,
Dive
bang.
of the century, dude. Straight in the chest.
But my favorite thing before that happens, he goes, no, and just freezes all the bullets. I'm like,
that was a sick scene, though.
It was. And he just
it's still to this day perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much wrong with it. You can pixel pirate it away, but it's so good.
Yeah. But he jumps into Agent Smith and probably creates his own worst enemy.
Yeah, which,
as we'll discuss next week.
You watch it as a single movie and it's like, okay, that's really interesting. That's cool. But then knowing there's sequels, like, oh yeah, you screwed the pooch, but you really did.
But for right now, you've saved the world and the Matrix, and there's still.
But what a fantastic! Agent Smith blows up, does whatever. The other two agents do the like Looney Tunes, oh gosh, and run away. Yeah.
Humans can do that now? Okay.
And I don't remember how much there is between. I mean, there's a lot of like talk or narrative. Neo flying away at the end is the lamest thing.
Really?
Me. I don't know why.
I thought
it's just kind of like, it is awesome. I hate Superman. So I think that's my thing. I'm like, oh, he's Superman now. Great. And that's it.
Yeah. But if he can manipulate the Matrix, I mean, yeah, I'm flying.
Yeah. And it makes perfect sense. Yeah. Like, he's figured it out fully. Like, I'm just going to do whatever I want at this point.
Yeah.
Which, again, not to kill 2 and 3. You figured out the Matrix, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Why is there any struggle in any of this bullcrap?
Right.
Like, you've got it. And then other people figure it out.
Why do you need to? You don't even need to fight. You can just run a program.
Yeah, just whatever Naruto hand gestures, whatever flying you got to do, just it's done.
Yeah.
Done.
Now,
but still, incredible ending.
Yeah.
And what a way to finish out the 90s than a hardcore 90s.
What you say? What you say? What?
This is your theme song for this week, by the way. Is if I could tell you the number of recordings that I've made of trying to come up with music, and it's just me doing this on a microphone to figure it out. Bing, boom, it's bad. But yeah, that if you want to summarize the Matrix, it's this.
That and every movie in black afterwards, and
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is like no movie was the same after this.
No.
This movie came out. I mean, it's just like arguably kind of like Lord of the Rings. No adventure movie was the same after that came out.
I would say that Blade had an influence on this movie with the dark leather and the
100%
sunglasses and
100%. And again, not mocking the friends I have that are super nerdy that started wearing this. Blade's probably their second favorite movie after this. Yeah. And I get it. I mean, like, it's the same world. It's this dark underground cult kind of deal. But
if you went to any public school, you know who exactly we're talking about.
Yep. Nicest people in the world. They definitely got picked on.
Yep. Now we move on to trivia. Matrix trivia.
It's my
we talked about before, Will Smith and Sean Connery both turned down roles for Neo and Morpheus respectively.
That Will Smith was if they got Will Smith in this, it'd be a lot like Will Smith playing the genie and
whoa, Aladdin. I know Kung Fu. Whoa.
Party in the city when the heat is on, the Matrix is on fire, and I'm always wrong.
This is the one? Okay.
Wait, Sean Connery could have played Neo?
He could have played Morpheus.
Okay, I thought you said both, and I was about to say.
Well, Will Smith turned down Neo, Sean Connery turned down Morpheus. The studio suggestions for the role of Neo were Val Kilmer, Johnny Depp, and Brandon Lee before he died.
Val Kilmer.
Uh-huh. I think he could have...
I could have rode with that.
Yeah. When I read that, I was like, yeah, I could see that.
Have you seen his documentary, by the way?
Oh, it's so good.
I haven't watched it yet. I really need to.
Wonderful.
I don't want to cry. I assume it's going to be heartbreaking.
Ugh.
But
but not to get off topic, but there's a scene where he's at, and he shot this whole thing himself with his son.
Yeah, that's wild.
Which it gets into like some real sensitive moments. Like there's a real heartbreaking scene where he's at like this tombstone celebration where they're watching the movie, and he's talking about it. He's like, I'm really glad people love this movie and they love this character.
He was a shadow director,
but he's like, not to shame anybody else that goes out there and makes money off of their old roles and stuff. But he's like, I just feel like I keep living in the past, and it's like, ugh. And then he gets sick at a convention one time, and they show that whole thing, and I'm like, oh, this is sad.
I'll never do this, but points for him. He filmed everything.
Yeah.
Like how to make the documentary of your life. Yeah.
And he can't even talk anymore. But anyway.
Well, okay. You talked about tombs.
Yeah.
The other person I thought that was in Barks Play Neo has an incredible pyramid tomb in New Orleans. Nick Cage.
He couldn't have played it.
No, my theft was Tom Cruise, DiCaprio, Nick Cage were supposed to be on par. All three have been terrible.
Yeah.
I would have watched Tom Cruise though. It would have been so bad, but I would have.
I'm in the Matrix.
Hey, you're here. You're not. We're gonna do it.
But again, like I said before, Russell Crowe turned down Morpheus as well.
Yeah, good choice.
But
you know what? Gary Oldman turned it down.
Really?
Gary Oldman turned it down, and I
think there was a lot of big names that we don't know about that turned down these roles.
Which is weird because this is a nobody's movie. Well, they didn't have anything before this.
Well,
this was just like...
I think they went through everybody in Hollywood and nobody...
Yeah. They had that clip. They had their like demo reel of Trinity in the first.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was like, oh, shoot, you need to be in on this. But yeah, they went through everybody.
I think all those people read the script and they just couldn't... I don't think that... The way... I think even Will Smith talks about this. The Wachowskis didn't pitch it well.
Which they shouldn't have.
They should not have been the ones pitching it.
No, in this movie, incredible. So Let Me Not Eat Crow.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have produced this. I don't think any of the movies they should have produced it. They created it, especially 2 and 3. They should have stepped away, man. That's my 2 cents.
They should have just been directors.
Yeah, Like they have no full history, I think, at this point of anything.
Yeah, because there was nothing after this where I'm like, that's a good movie. I mean, they produced V for Vendetta.
But I think that kind of wrote itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was already based on the
comic
novel
itself.
So.
And that's an incredible graphic novel.
I read that in a English class I took at a community college.
That's a good class then.
It was a comic book class. And
oh my God, that's awesome. I need to
go sign up. I'm signing up for that. It was I think I took that and something else in summer school. But that was one of my favorite classes I ever took in college.
Yeah, that's a winner. But I just think they shouldn't have done.
But this was like the beginning of like Sean Connery turning down everything in Hollywood. He turned down this, Magneto, and Gandalf.
Which either he's a genius and knew it wasn't for him, or he just got lazy.
Well, he said
or didn't understand it.
With Lord of the Rings, he said he just didn't understand it.
And I can get that. I think
he's like, what?
It's a ton of people that even read the books.
Watch a Hobbit. What? I don't.
Sure.
I see.
And
that's what led him to doing League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Incredible movie.
Because he didn't want to turn down. Because I think he's even said, like, I didn't want to turn down another big thing.
And you know what's funny? Like, it's another classic story.
Yeah.
That they took there.
And it's the only thing any movie or TV show that Alan Moore has put his name on that said he created it. First and last.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Lives in a cave and worships snakes, so. That is The Matrix.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not even going to rate it. I wasn't even going to ask for a rating because it's a 10 out of 10.
No. You asked me to do the trilogy. I immediately went, I want to watch the first one again.
Yeah.
Didn't question it. Nothing. Didn't even the next two for me are so bad. There's good parts. They're so bad. The first one being so good overshadowed it.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'll do this. The first one's incredible.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it. I will probably watch the first one again before we do the next one.
Hoping Resurrections doesn't turn into this movie, but again.
I don't know. I'm optimistic, but
I am too.
I think it's going to be Star Wars. I think we're going to have waking up again, doing the same thing again.
That's what it looks like. I hope it looks like we're going to get through all that quicker.
Yeah.
And so I'll cut them some slack because they've hired a lot of good actors, and
I will save you my thoughts till the third movie.
Okay.
Of the payoff is gone from the third movie, I think.
Yeah.
Which is my fear.
Because when that third episode comes out, I'm probably going to be in a theater that day watching.
I'll probably be in a house getting help. Whenever we record that, I will be in a house finding help for insanity.
That's The Matrix.
Red pill, blue pill, baby.
Red pill, blue pill. Thanks for coming.
Anytime.
Remoting in and talking.
Yeah. Today I'm excited, but the next time we talk, I will not say thank you for having me for this.
Well,
I will just not say anything. It'll end much alike The Matrix should have.
As for the rest of us, if you want to reach the show for a suggestion for something, you can send an email to secondtakemoviepod@gmail.com. If you want to find us on social media, we're at Second Take Movies everywhere. And for Jake, I will say we'll see you next week with Matrix Reloaded.